Fortunately for California growers, the unique environment of the Golden State lends itself to handling practices which favor safe production and essentially eliminate the requirement for a pre-shipping wash treatment. There are two main centers of cantaloupe production in California, the San Joaquin Valley and the southern desert region. California melon fields are rarely threatened by rains and the wetting of melon beds, as is typical in other regions of production. Dry summers and careful irrigation practices keep the cantaloupe beds dry, which ensures melon rinds develop properly all the way around the fruit. Wet beds during melon growth can lead to the formation of a larger than permitted ground spot. Our research has shown this ground spot can be an area of entry to the edible flesh if salmonella contamination were to occur. In addition, dry cantaloupe beds greatly minimize the amount of soil that sticks to the fruit surface, resulting in a clean-appearing melon right from the field. This is one reason why California cantaloupes have a relatively low risk factor in the pre-harvest phase of production, especially when compared to cantaloupes from other states. California growers are fortunate to have access to water sources well suited for irrigation of edible crops that are consumed fresh. The majority of California cantaloupe fields are furrow irrigated. Trenches are formed on either side of the raised melon bed and are flooded 2 to 5 times before harvest. Special care is taken to keep the top of the beds dry to minimize fruit contact with moist soil, which can result in unsightly ground spots and penetration of the rind by molds. Our research has shown that these molds can be another route for salmonella to find its way under the netted rind. In other areas, wet springs and summers mean that growers have to use a higher amount of pesticides and foliar applications in order to prevent pests and diseases. In California, however, the dry summers enable growers to use fewer pesticides and fewer foliar applications, keeping the cantaloupes largely free from external deposits that need to be washed off before shipping. Of course, it's one thing to claim that field packing and shed packing are equally safe, but what does the evidence say? Recent scientific studies conducted at UC Davis have shown California cantaloupes to be among the safest available anywhere. California melon growers proactively supported a survey of cantaloupes produced in different regions of California, testing over 2,000 field-collected melons since 1999. Numerous fields managed by many different growers were tested, and no salmonella has ever been found on the fruit. In light of this research, the likelihood that a person will develop an illness from a California cantaloupe is very low. Although it would be irresponsible to say that harmful levels of contamination will never be found in our cantaloupes, the actual probability of detecting salmonella in these melons under current conditions is very small. Is it possible? Yes. Is it likely? No. As the science shows, current methods of melon cultivation in the pre-harvest phase of production result in fruit that is very safe for consumers. California's track record also testifies to the safety of current harvesting and packing methods among conscientious growers. California has provided over 60% of the U.S. cantaloupe production for many years, and no known outbreaks have ever originated from California cantaloupes. And remember, California has been dominated by field packing for many years. The research indicates that a well-managed field pack operation is just as safe as a well-managed shed pack operation. Whether field packing or shed packing, California growers must observe certain standards in order to run a safe, smooth operation. Although most of the safety guidelines apply to both methods, there is an additional set of standards that are necessary to ensure a well-managed shed packing facility. In field packing and in shed packing, much care is taken to ensure that all workers are properly trained, have access to properly maintained facilities, and are routinely reminded of sanitation and safety concerns throughout the harvesting process. Training programs instruct workers on a variety of issues, including proper hand washing techniques, proper usage of sanitary gloves, and the availability of bandages provided by the employer to cover cuts and lesions. Workers are also instructed to report all cases of personal illness to their superiors. Employees with symptoms of illness or diarrhea are reassigned to paid activities that do not involve contact with the produce or food surfaces. Whether in the field or in the shed, The guiding principles of field and harvest sanitation largely focus on the cleanliness of harvesting equipment. Heavy juice residues are removed from bins, containers, and all other food contact surfaces in order to prevent the attraction of unwanted animals and insects. Sanitizing programs are used for food contact surfaces to prevent cross-contamination. Dirt and debris are regularly removed from trailers and gondolas between uses. California's conscientious growers ensure that all harvest contractors and crews are made aware of these guiding principles of food safety. Research from within California, Texas, the southeastern United States, and Mexico have all demonstrated that post-harvest washing has the potential to either increase or decrease the risk of contamination in cantaloupes. A well-designed and operated packing facility may contribute to the reduction of contamination risks. Shed-pack facilities that are poorly designed or managed may increase the risk of cross-contamination and have likely contributed to the multi-state extent of recent outbreaks. Shed packers using water cleaning and cooling systems must be careful that their methods do not unwittingly spread contamination. Because the exterior of the cantaloupe is more difficult to clean than the smooth, waxy melons such as honeydew and watermelon, mechanical cleaning with brushes in combination with an approved antimicrobial agent is essential. A high priority must be given to maintaining adequate levels of disinfectant in all water applications. This includes the quality of shipping ice, used in some areas where refrigerated transportation is not available. In addition, when designing the layout of packing facilities, shed packers should ensure that product flow is always linear. Incoming cantaloupes should not cross paths or be stored next to cantaloupes that have already been cleaned or processed. Ideally, packing areas should be physically separated from receiving and processing areas. Worker traffic flow should not move between the two areas. California cantaloupes, fresh, delicious, and safe. Dry summers, rich soils, and a healthy water supply ensure that California cantaloupes receive the best conditions available anywhere for the pre-harvest phase of production. The environment enables growers and packers to observe high-quality industry practices throughout the Golden State. These favorable conditions allow California growers the unique advantage of being able to field pack as well as shed pack with safety and confidence. And as the science testifies, California cantaloupes, whether shed packed or field packed, remain among the safest in the world. For more information, contact the California Cantaloupe Advisory Board, California Melon Research Board, or for technical questions, visit ucfoodsafety.ucdavis.edu.